Some days you just wake up and you want to build a castle. It happens to me maybe once every couple of years. You know, I'll just decide, you know what, today's the day. It's castle building day. I really did try to channel my old school energy with this thing. It really does remind me of the sorts of builds me and my friends used to do back on the survival multiplayer server that I ran on my home computer that me and my friends used to play on. With that being said, I like to think it's a tiny bit better than that. I mean, there's some nice details in here, there's some nice depth, it's quite a nice start, it's a solid base to actually start constructing things off of. And the things that we're going to be constructing are, of course, redstone related things. I want to build a redstone castle. I've never really done that before. I don't know why. Let's just get to it. First things first, absolutely enormous castle gate. I mean, look at this gigantic opening. It's just asking for a huge portcullis, but it's going to be like a reverse portcullis. It's going to be pushed down from the top as opposed to coming up and going up into the ceiling because, yeah, as you can see, I mean, we'd have to do some serious magic to make that work. I did think I'd thought of a way to do it, but unfortunately it would require pistons here, which I think, yeah, looks a tiny bit ugly. Reverse portcullis it is. Now, I'm hoping that this system up at the top here should function. So this is going to be the thing that pushes our portcullis down into the floor. I haven't backed this up, but I think it's just worth testing because I have a lot of faith. And it looks like that has actually all worked, which is excellent news. I was so confused that the flying machine started going back up to the top. I guess it's because the grass converted into dirt. So these things are gradually going to fly back up to the surface. Is that going to break it? Yeah, it probably is, isn't it? Amazingly, it didn't. They all flew back at different times and this thing stayed functional. This is robust. So now it's time to work on the bottom part of the circuitry. Need to build up flying machines that push everything upwards, which should be relatively simple-ish. All I've done here is I've mirrored what we have up at the top. So if I send this up, good. This is now being pushed upwards and has reached the exact point that I want it to, which is fantastic. And these have stopped in the correct position, which is also brilliant. Everything is going far too well. I'm sure something is going to go catastrophically wrong very soon. Goodness me, this looks cool though. This looks really cool. So I've put some stairs at the top and the bottom to kind of hide away the gaps that we have. This looks mega! The thought that this opens using redstone is awesome. And now it's time to test all of the redstone. I mean, I've added in all of the circuitry that connects up to the flying machines. I've got the send and receive circuits. So hopefully our flying machine should go downwards, then zip up back to the top. I mean, it should all be in place. That's not good! 30 minutes later, and I know that you guys take the mick out of me for this down in the comment section. Every single redstone video I say this is my new favourite redstone contraption ever. But this might just be my favourite redstone contraption ever. I love watching it. There's something that's so satisfying about watching this thing work. So there we go, flying machines go back up into the top. When we want to close everything up, we flick this lever and everything gets pushed upwards. I mean, is that not the greatest thing in the world? Come on! Is that not the greatest thing in the world? Be honest. It has to be, doesn't it? It's just the coolest. It's just the best. Oh, I've just had a thought. What's more castle-y than a drawbridge? If we can combine a drawbridge with this piston door here, I don't know what I'll do. I genuinely don't. I might have to quit YouTube because I think I will have peaked. I'll just have to make a video saying, look, you know what? It's not going to get any better from here. Alright, this is it. I'm not able to make any better videos. Just watch this one over and over again. This is as good as it gets. So I've built up our drawbridge smasher into her. I think that is the technical term for it. This is what our drawbridge is going to be crashing into. Now, how long do we actually want the drawbridge to be? I would say probably about here is long enough. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 blocks. Let's make it 12 for good measure. Now, the reason I went for 12 is because each one of our drawbridge modules is 4 blocks long, and obviously 12 can be divided by 4 to give 3, so we've got 3 drawbridge modules inside this thing that are going to be pushed back and forth. So now I'm working on the pushing across circuitry, which involves pushing out each one of the modules. So I need to push this one out, then I need to push this one out, and then I need to push this one out, and then we activate the flying machine at the back, and that will push everything towards this wall, and then the reverse is a lot simpler. Honestly, that makes it sound so much more complicated than it actually is. All I'm doing is I'm powering the first piston, then that piston, and then that piston, and then that piston, and then on the retraction, I'm just powering that piston, the one behind my head. Looking back, I definitely should have pointed at the things instead of just doing it all behind my head, but still, it works. As does this system. If I hit this button right here, you can see there goes our drawbridge. It is being pushed across. It's quite a big and bulky system, I'll give it that. But there is a one wide segment of the drawbridge, all looking lovely, so I can run across to my castle. And then if I hit this button right here, you can see that the drawbridge gets retracted back underneath the ground. By the way, these iron blocks right here, these represent the ground. Right, I've got to build up the other 3 modules, and then I guess I have to hide this thing under... I've got to do a bunch of terraforming now. What have I done? If there's one thing that I hate in Minecraft, it's terraforming, because I'm not very good at it. It takes ages for me to do something that just doesn't look good. I mean, look at this lump. This lump of grass here. It's not really that pretty, but let's see if the actual drawbridge works. I'm really hoping it does. Oh gosh, what have I done? I've crashed it into something. Something's broken in there. Hopefully it's now fixed. I'm going to try this thing again. Oh, that is perfect. Oh, that is so cool. that is so cool. Oh man. Alright, we need to connect up these 2 circuits so that everything happens at once. Prepare yourselves for what I'm about to say, because we all know it's coming, don't we? I mean, we all know what I'm going to say here. It's just impossible for me not to love this. Look. Oh, the drawbridge. The drawbridge arrives at the same time as the door opens. You know, they basically hit at the same time. It doesn't get better than this. Look, run across my drawbridge, enter in my castle, everything's good. All fantastic, everybody's welcome, you know, visitors welcome. This is basically screaming, you can come into my place. But then if you see someone on the horizon, you're playing on a multiplayer server, you know, this is your base. You see someone on the horizon that you find really annoying. It's like, oh no, that's Jimmy. Ah, that's Jimmy. I'm not a big fan of Jimmy. You just hit the button and you just close up your castle. Jimmy's running up, he's all excited to see you, and then he just sees that. It's like, your drawbridge has just finished retracting, your castle gate has just finished closing. Imagine how unwelcome you'd feel. Poor Jimmy. He is annoying though, and nobody likes Jimmy. I'm now frantically trying to think if there's anyone called Jimmy on the Hermitcraft server. I'm almost certain there isn't, but if there is, it's not referring to them. Anyway, I've spent a ridiculous quantity of time on the entrance to this thing. I should probably actually do some work on the interior, and I've just realised, for the fact that this is a castle, this might have one of the smallest interiors of any of the builds that I've done on this YouTube channel. Let me try and think of some castle stuff. What's some really good castle things that I could build? Well, I guess a wooden floor is one. I mean, I thought it would be cool if we had a wooden floor in our castle. Obviously, one thing that did come to my head was the target block. You know, we could do some arrow practice, but I'm not playing in the snapshot, so that's not going to do it. Oh gosh, I didn't think this far ahead. All I thought this morning was castle. Castle gate, drawbridge, nothing further. Well, I think a throne is a good move. I mean, it took me a long time to come up with this idea, by the way, but a throne, look, this is cool, so I can chill on my throne. I've also added in some redstone, so I'm going to chuck in some fireworks. Nice and nice. Right, let's see how well this goes. So here I am, King Mumbo, hopping onto my throne. That is so over the top. Can you imagine being a king that requested that as their throne? Like, you sit down and then there's just a constant firework display until you get off. That is the sort of king that I would vote for. You know, you don't vote for a king, do you? That's kind of scary, but I'd still vote for them. Right, the next thing that I thought would be worth doing would be adding an upstairs to this place, and that was actually a bit of a challenge because obviously this whole castle kind of relies on it being big and open, so I thought I'd almost create this little mezzanine floor right here so the flying machine can get past it just fine. We've got supporting brackets and things. The only thing that I haven't worked out yet is how I'm going to transition between levels, but I am a little bit curious as to how high we go with slime blocks. Slime blocks are great, aren't they? Like, I had not realised they launched you up that high. Right, that is perfect. So we now have our bottom area all done and dusted. I guess I should probably add in a few chests and a little bit of a storage system down at the bottom here too. I mean, I know this is a castle, but we still need to get the useful stuff in place, such as a horse. I mean, horses are useful, aren't they? You know? Really useful. I'm going to be honest, I don't think I've actually ever really ridden a horse in Minecraft in a meaningful way, other than to check out what it was like. I've never actually used a horse long term, but still, I thought it looked cool. I thought it was a cool thing to have in my living room, and if I could have a horse in my living room in real life, I'd be pretty happy. So I've decided that King Mumbo would probably like that too. I've got my barrels, I've got everything sorted, so let's pop up onto the next layer. And that is not how to do it. Let's pop up onto the next layer. And I've got myself a bed and a little bit of space to work with up here. Which, for those of you who don't know, that was not a mispronunciation. That is just how kings say here. I think for a castle to be a castle, it actually has to have a library. Like, it's almost a requirement for a castle to have a library. So I thought I'd chuck that in up at the top here. There's not really much room for redstone, and there's not really many redstone contraptions that I'd want to add into the mix. So I thought this would do well. Whatever happens, I would say we've got a pretty nice home on the inside of there. I certainly wouldn't mind living in that place. Mainly because of the entrance. I mean, I'm just going to do this one more time. This is going to be the last time that I do it in the video, but I'm going to make the same noises. Oh, it's just... It looks so much cooler now that you can actually see the furniture and things on the inside too. Now that it's not just a hollow space back there. It's so cool. It's so cool. I want this in real life. This is how I want to enter my house. I want to get home from the shops. You know, I'm carrying my shopping bags and things. I hit a button, and then just a bridge opens up, my castle gate opens. I mean, this is how I want to live my life. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this redstone video. It's been a lot of fun to create, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya. And you know what? I'm feeling generous today. You can have a world download down in the description. You can check this out for yourselves, because I'm sure there's going to be a few of you who want to build up large castle gates. And it's been ages since I've seen like a really good castle gate on YouTube. So who knows? Maybe they'll become popular. They used to be like massively popular. They used to be like the most popular redstone contraption. And I haven't seen one for a while. So maybe things will change.